The White House says a ceasefire with Iran is still in place despite Tehran attacking 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. Iranian state media released this video, which purportedly shows soldiers seizing 2 ships. Multiple U.S. officials have told CBS News Iran maintains more military capabilities than the government has publicly admitted. And yesterday, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said there's no firm deadline for an Iranian proposal.
The president wants a unified response. And so as we await that response, there's a ceasefire with the military and kinetic strikes, but Operation Economic Fury continues, and the effective and successful naval blockade continues as well.
And we're seeing yet another high-profile departure from the Trump administration. Navy Secretary John Phelan is leaving his role effective immediately. That means the Department of the Navy is losing its top civilian officer while playing a key role in the ongoing Iran war. We've got team coverage on all these notes for you this morning. Aaron Navarro is tracking the latest on Iran from our D.C. bureau. But let's begin with CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio joining us live from London. Ramy, good morning. The U.S. and Iran vying for control over the Strait of Hormuz, as we've reported on extensively. What's the latest on that fight?
Yeah, Errol, good morning. Well, frankly, it's tense. It's still tense. Iran's Revolutionary Guards released that video you showed just now, amping up that tension. The seizure of 2 cargo ships that we reported yesterday, boarding the MSC Epaminondas. That's a Greek flag ship that had tried to evade Iranian detection. We now know they failed, along with that other ship, the MSC Francesca, now in Iranian hands. And today, senior Iranian government officials are pointing the blame here at the White House for this freeze in peace talks that we thought early this week might happen. We know it's not happening, at least right at this point, with J.D. Vance, the vice president, still in the United States. Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, says that that Tehran does want, as he said, dialogue. But he says it's because of the U.S. It's because the U.S. has blockaded the strait. It's because the U.S., in his words, has breached commitments. And that appears to be a reference to the U.S. Earlier agreeing that Lebanon would be included in this current ceasefire, but which Israel said wasn't. And then we've seen these massive bombings of Hezbollah strongholds in the country. Furthermore, Iran's chief negotiator, Mohammad Ghalibaf, weighed in and said basically it's impossible to reopen the strait because of this. And the tension, oil is continuing to be the barometer of this tension. I'm seeing that spill into the oil markets today. Yesterday, we talked about oil crossing that psychological $100 a barrel mark. Right now, I'm looking at it over $103 a barrel. So again, this tension spilling on over here, and no sign of any talks moving forward.
All right, Ramy, thank you for that update. Let's jump now to CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro in Washington. Good morning, Aaron. Help us understand the circumstances surrounding the Navy Secretary leaving and what it may reveal about behind-the-scenes dynamics and tensions in the U.S. as this war unfolds.
Yeah, good morning, Errol. It was John Phelan's background as a businessman and as a donor to President Trump's political campaigns that brought him into this role in the Navy in the first place. A White House official said it was agreed by both President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, though, that new leadership at the Navy was needed, and that it was Hegseth who informed Phelan he was fired before it was announced publicly. Sources told CBS News that Phelan frequently argued and clashed with Secretary Hegseth, as well as Pentagon Deputy Secretary Steve Feinberg, though it is unknown if any of that stems from disagreements with this war in Iran. The timing is, of course, significant given the naval blockade by the U.S. on Iranian ports, though publicly, the White House has only said that President Trump is satisfied with the blockade so far. But Democrats are now showing concern over what the leadership turnover in the Navy will mean for this conflict. This is what Congressman Jason Crow, a Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, said yesterday.
Generals and admirals talk about things destroyed, things blowing up. What's going to be the new strategy? What's going to be the new approach? And we just spin our wheels, spend trillions of dollars of taxpayer money. Americans pay for it. Working class kids do the fighting and the dying. And it's an endless cycle, which is why it just needs to stop.
There could also be more concerns from Democrats over the new acting civilian leader of the Navy, Phelan's Undersecretary Hung Cao. He is a Navy veteran who has also ran for Congress multiple times as a Republican, most recently for Senate in Virginia in 2024. But Phelan is now the 3rd high-profile official to leave the Pentagon in recent months after Hegseth asked the Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, to step down earlier this month.
All right, Aaron, thank you